Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us here today. My name is David Joyce, and I'm the Regional Manager for the Indian Subcontinent at the University of South Wales.
Good morning, my name is Richard Stacey. I'm the Regional Recruitment Officer for Africa at the University of South Wales.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining the session today. What we're going to do is give you an overview of the university in general, and then we're going to go on to some pre-submitted questions that you already launched for us. And also anyone that's tuning in live can also post questions as well. So feel free to ask anything that you have in your mind, and we'll be happy to give you some more information. Okay, so the University of South Wales is one of the top 10 largest universities in the UK. We have over 33,000 students, and we have over 4,500 international students joining us each year. We actually get the students from 70 different countries. One of the nicest things about studying in the UK is that you get this very multicultural vibe where students come together from all over the world and share their experiences, their slight cultural differences, and the way that they may apply techniques in their own country. So we're not only learning from our lecturers, we're also learning from each other. And that's one of the really nice influences you'll get at the university. So we have one of the highest employability rates in the UK, and that is something that is essential for us. We are a university that thrives ourselves on our practicality of our courses and the fact that all of our courses are very desirable by players in the industry. So once you graduate, you know that you've left with a degree that's going to be a stepping stone into the industry, and you don't just have theoretical knowledge, you can apply everything that you've learned from the practical side of the courses into an industry. So actually 96.5% of our graduates will have a job within 6 months or gone back into higher education. Okay.
Yes, well, and again, the location of the university is fantastic. The sun is shining today, so it's wonderful. Very green, very lush. We're midway between an exciting city and beautiful countryside. So we have the best of both worlds. We have a very quiet, safe environment to study, so you can get on with your studies. But if you want a little bit of nightlife, a little bit of excitement, it's not too far away.
Yeah, so we're actually based 15 minutes outside of Cardiff, the capital of Wales, and just over 2 hours away from London. We're also approximately 2 hours and 15 minutes from Birmingham. So in terms of location in the UK, we're very central. So traveling around the UK and exploring the sites and the cities is very, very easy. We've got an excellent rail network. And actually there's a train station in Treforest itself. So it connects you very nicely with the Valleys line to the main line in Cardiff. And again, it'll be about a 2-hour train journey to London from there. So that's something I'd always advise any student to do when they study abroad, is to not only concentrate on getting a very strong degree and obviously performing well on that, is to really get immersed in the culture. So when I travel overseas, and I travel to India quite regularly, to Sri Lanka, Nepal and Bangladesh, I get to see some fascinating sites, the culture, hear about the history, and that makes my experiences really full and kind of really enriching. So you'll get to kind of get the full value of the UK and get exposure to kind of our culture as well whilst you study, which is obviously a nice desirable thing. And it's those kind of lifetime experiences that you'll have with you for the rest of your life and look back with a fond memory of studying in the university. Okay, so the university itself has seen quite a lot of significant change over the last few years. We were formerly the University of Glamorgan and the University of Newport. And in 2013, we had a merger and became the University of South Wales. So pulling all resources together, we're now one of the top 10 largest in the UK. We've got 4 campuses that we're teaching on, which are namely Treforest, Glyntaf, the Atrium in Cardiff itself, and the Newport City campus. So it depends on which subject area you may be looking to study as to which campus you will be studying on, but certainly we can advise you as per that if you are looking to make an application to us in the near future. Generally speaking, our business and our engineering programs would be on our Treforest campus. Our nursing programs, our sciences and our sports programs would be based at our Glyntaf campus. Then we'd have our creative industry subjects, which would be based down at the Atrium in Cardiff. And then finally, we have our Newport City campus, again, which has some accounting and finance and professional courses and business courses and some film courses as well. So quite a wide range, but they are generally split up between our 4 campuses. And the nice thing is we're not just attracting international students to one particular stream, so they're not all studying business programs, they really are across the board. So we are seeing students enjoying a wide range of subject areas at the university. Okay.
With regards to extracurricular activities, if you like, so away from study, there's such a wide range of activities you can take part in. There are clubs and societies for practically everything you can think of. I'm constantly amazed by what we actually do. Every time I travel, I get asked, what can I do away from studying? I'm a water polo champion, and can I do water polo? And I thought, oh, I've never heard of that one before. I've heard of water polo, but whether the university does it or not. So I come back and I inquire what we do, and do we do water polo? And they say, yes, of course we do. We've got one of the top water polo teams in the country. Okay. So it's fantastic. Everything you can want to do after you've studied is great.
Yeah. So you can play sports competitively for the university. I myself was actually the captain of the hockey team when I studied here. So it's quite nice for me with my background, having studied at the university and now working here. Hopefully it's really given me a good insight as to what it's like to be and live in the university. But you can play football, rugby, cricket, hockey, golf, netball, badminton, basketball, and so on and so on. So there really is a huge range of sports out there for you. And it's not just because you play at a high level that you should want to continue at university. You should definitely try and learn something new whilst you study here as well. So it may be that you've always had an interest in learning self-defense or rock climbing or surfing. So there is a wide range of activities you can actually just try for fun as well. We do weekend sessions in things like kayaking and like I say, going to coasteering around the South Wales Peninsula, which is again really, really nice. And going back to location, we're really spoilt in terms of where we are, in that, as Rich said, we're very close to the capital city of Wales itself, Cardiff. So we've got the nightlife, all the activities and attractions of a big city just on our doorstep. We're actually situated in the heart of the Welsh Valleys, so we're in a very beautiful area surrounded by countryside. There's actually 3 national parks in Wales itself, and we're actually also half an hour away from the beaches as well. So we've got a very beautiful coastline called the Gower towards Swansea. So that's a lovely place that you should definitely try and explore when you come down here, because they have some of the most breathtaking beaches within the whole UK and arguably some in the world as well. So it's really, really fortunate in terms of location like that. So what we're going to do then is we're going to start answering a few of the questions that we've already been given in this morning, and then we'll be happy to open up to any more questions that do come in throughout the session. So anything that we don't cover at the moment, feel free to ask, and we're happy to go into some detail and hopefully address any of your queries. So we're going to start off with a question from Rabia. And she's asked if there is any private sharing available in terms of renting accommodation on the campus, and what would the minimum rent be? Okay, so we do have a huge range of accommodation available to you in South Wales. So you have several options. First of all, you could choose to live on the campus in one of our halls of residence. Generally speaking, our international students will always prefer to live their first year on campus. It's a great way to meet people, to get exposed to the university, and just generally used to the way of life. The accommodation is approximately £105 per week, and depending on which campus you are on, but we'd say that would be the average price. But that includes all the bills and the internet connection as well. So wherever you are on the university campus, you'll have access to Wi-Fi, and obviously we've got computer rooms as well. So you don't even have to travel with your own laptop or computer. We do have facilities in place if you did not want to travel with any equipment. But also we do have some sharing flats on our university campus, which are designed specifically for couples in mind. So it may be that you want to come with your husband, it may be husband and wife, it may be boyfriend and girlfriend that want to come together, but that certainly would be an option. And we have, I believe it's about 10 designer flats that are available, which are designed for couples in mind. So they would be approximately £140 a week, but it's a large double bed, its own private bathroom, own kitchenette, and then there's a desk and obviously storage space for you to kind of just generally have your whole life set up in the flat. And they've got beautiful views, again, across the campus and of the South Wales Valleys. Another really kind of strong thing that we have at the university is off campus, our accommodation is one of the cheapest regions in the UK to live. So If you are looking to find affordable accommodation whilst you study in the UK, this is certainly a very good region for that. We would say that between £45 and £65 would be the average rent per week for a property, depending if you wanted a single bedroom or a double bedroom. Obviously, the double bedroom would be more likely to be £65 per week. Students would generally live in a group of either 3, 4, or 5 students, depending on the size of the house, and it would generally be 1 student per room. You would then pay the bills between you, and we would generally say that £40 per week per household would be enough to cover the bills. So if there's 4 of you, that'd be just £10 per week. And in terms of kind of living costs and just general expenditure, we'd say that a sensible balanced diet would be between £40 and £50 per week. Obviously, I'm probably twice the size of Rich, and I probably eat twice as much as he does, so my bills are probably slightly more than his. But I think everyone gets used to living on a sensible budget and will pay that off throughout the course of their year. So we would say that if you're paying £65 for your rent, £10 for your bills, plus £45, let's say, for food, that's approximately £110 per week. The great thing about studying at the universities in the UK is you can do 20 hours of part-time work alongside your course as well. And in South Wales and in the UK, we would say £6.50 is the minimum wage. So if you're doing your basic 20 hours a week at £6.50, it's approximately £145, £150 per week after tax. And if your only expenditure is £115 for your living arrangements, you can actually see that you've paid off all of your accommodation and food costs and actually saved a bit of money on top as well. So that's a real kind of selling point that we have, that you can very much live cost-free and actually save money off your tuition fee by living in South Wales. Also, outside of term time in September, obviously we start the session again. We have the summer vacation, we have the Christmas vacation and the Easter vacation, and at which point you can actually work full-time in the UK. And that's another really good opportunity to kind of contribute towards your tuition fees. So it may be that your parents are supporting you funding, or maybe that you've saved up throughout your professional career to now study higher education. So obviously the further savings you can make are obviously advantageous going forward.
If I can just add that the university's been around for quite some time. We've been teaching on this site for about 100 years in one form or another. So the community around the university is well used to students, well used to international students. In fact, we have all types of shops that are geared towards students, so halal food is freely available. There are places to worship around the university as well as on university campuses. So what I'd like to say is the community is university based. So practically all the housing around the university has been converted to either student flats or student roomings.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say, having lived in Treforest for the last kind of 6-7 years, probably 80% of the accommodation available is student lets, and the rest would be residents. So the people that have lived in Treforest will generally have been there for quite a while, and they're well used to having a really kind of dynamic community around them. So it's a really active local area. We do a lot of kind of fundraising, volunteering, and there's lots of events we do at the university where we actually invite the community into the campus to kind of get involved with some of the activities we've been doing. So it's quite a nice atmosphere in terms of things like that. So hopefully that's answered your question, Rabia, but obviously we're happy to answer any more specific questions you may have going forward. Okay. So on the same kind of theme as that, and kind of recapping my answer a second ago, can you tell me about the approximate monthly expense, including all living costs without any part-time job? So generally speaking, an average cost in the UK, we would say that if you're studying in London, you would need to show £9,000 for your maintenance costs for the year. Outside of London, we would say the figure is £7,200. But we again would say that South Wales is a particularly cheap area of the UK. So realistically, we would say £6,000 should be the total cost throughout your whole year. I mean, if you go out and you're partying all the time, if you buy a car whilst you're here, if you eat in 5-star restaurants, obviously that's when the bills are going to creep up. But obviously we're talking about a sensible balanced diet here, living on not on a really tight budget, but kind of budgeting your money per month and obviously working towards cost that way. So we would say £65. We said basically £115 per week would be enough to cover your accommodation, your bills, and your food. So 115 times 4 is £460 per month, should be more than enough to sustain you in a double bedroom house with your bills and with your food on top as well. So approximately £460 should be enough to cover it without any part-time work. Okay, but for those of you that do choose to work, we'd say that you'd be earning approximately £600 a month. So you can see that it is advantageous to do that. And we do have a very good part-time job market. So we'd say there's a very, very strong chance you get a job very quickly whilst you study in the university. And obviously the gearing, all of our courses are geared towards you getting a full-time job in the future. We want all of our graduates to succeed in the industry. So we're going to give you obviously opportunities to network throughout the course. And once you've graduated, hopefully then you may go on to find some full-time work, either within the UK or wherever you want in the world, because our degree will be recognised and valid everywhere in the world. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go on to the next question, which is from Teo. And this question I'm going to throw over to Rich, because I'm aware I talk too much. So I'll let Rich try and have it say as well. Okay. So the question is, scholarships for the master's program, and that's from Dennis.
Okay, yeah, my question concerns scholarships for the master's programs. I would like to get further funding as I can't raise the £10,000. Unfortunately, the scholarship programs we have on offer are the only ones that we can offer. If you would like further funding, what I would suggest you do is look on the British Council website for your local region or country. They will have a list of available scholarships to you and scholarship bodies that are awarding particular funds. So then you can apply via the British Council for something like the Tallow Oil Scholarship Scheme, or indeed the Commonwealth Scholarship Scheme. But the £2,000 partial tuition scholarships for postgraduate study and up to £2,500 for undergraduate study are the only scholarships on offer at the university at the moment.
Yeah, so students from the Indian subcontinent and from 20 other countries, which are listed in our website, are entitled to our Chancellor's International Development Scholarship. So as Rich rightly mentioned, for my students from the Indian subcontinent, it would be a £2,500 scholarship in place, and it reduces the tuition fee from £11,600 down to £9,100 for the course. The nice thing with this scholarship is, first of all, it's not competitive in that there's not a limited number of places. So you don't have to apply separately for this scholarship. It will be something that will be awarded to you directly on a successful application to the university. The other nice thing about the undergraduate scholarship is, because it's a 3-year program, this scholarship isn't just for our first year, it actually is across each year of the program. So as long as you pass that year successfully and go on to the next year, you will again receive this £2,500 development scholarship. So across 3 years, you can save £7,500. So hopefully that will be something that's obviously quite attractive going forward, and hopefully will assist you in supporting your finances.
Yes, and there's no need to make a separate application for that scholarship either. It's automatically applied to when you make your application for the course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So postgraduate, again, on meeting the entry requirements, is a £2,000 scholarship, and it reduces it from £12,300 down to £10,300. And finally, the MBA is a £1,500 scholarship, and that reduces it from £12,600 down to £11,100. With all of the tuition fees from any country in the world, the way that we would operate for an international student is to organise your CAS and to arrange for your Tier 4 visa. We would ask you to pay a 50% deposit on your tuition fee on receiving your unconditional offer. Once you've made that payment, you would then apply for your CAS, either directly on your own, or you can use one of our registered agents across the world. They would help you launch the application and go through the process of getting your Tier 4 visa. Once you then arrive in the UK with your visa, you can then choose to pay the remaining balance in one go. If you do that, we give you a further £300 reduction. So that is a way of making it slightly cheaper. And after that discount, it would be £8,800 for undergraduate, £10,000 for postgraduate, or £10,800 for MBA. So there is that extra £300 available if you were to pay it off in one go. Failing that, you could choose a payment plan, which is over 3 months or over 7 months. and then you would pay in installments. So it depends on what's better for you. I myself, when I have money in my pocket, unfortunately, I have shiny eyes and I'll see something that I like and I will try and buy it, and I'll probably waste my money. So if you have the money in your account, I always would advise at the start of the year to pay it off, and then at least you know the rest of your income, that maybe through part-time work or whatever other kind of income you have, that money would then be for your living expenses and for your other arrangements. You've paid off your tuition. However, again, some people would prefer to keep the money in their account and pay in installments, which is absolutely fine. So we are quite flexible in terms of things like that as well. Okay, so hopefully that's answered your question, Dennis, but if you do have anything further, please feel free to let us know. Okay, so we've got another question, I think from the same young lady, Rabaya. So will the school request for a hard copy of the original documents when I resume school? So I take it what you mean in terms of the application and submitting documents. What we want to see is a scan of your original document. So as long as it's not a copy of a copy of a copy, that's absolutely fine. But as long as we can see that it's an official university or school transcript with your grades on there, and obviously the modules that you studied, then that should be absolutely fine. When it comes to individual applications, obviously we see students from all over the world with a huge range of transcripts. So we're very used to dealing in a wide range of courses and syllabuses from all over the world. So we've got a team of colleagues that will help process any applications. And if there was anything missing from a particular application, you would be notified either directly or through your agent that we'd be looking for the final piece of the jigsaw. So just because you haven't got all of your documents in one place at one time doesn't mean you can't launch an application. It may be that you're waiting for your IELTS result. It may be that you're waiting for a transcript to come at the end of your final year semester. So you can certainly apply in the meantime. We would process it to what we have available. So we'd give you a conditional offer, and we'd say the final condition is on you providing this particular document. So it may be IELTS. So conditional upon IELTS 6.5 for postgraduate. So if you do have any questions, once you have got an offer, if there's anything that you think you're not sure of, just feel free to drop us a query, and that's absolutely fine. And you can just drop us an email directly and we'll be happy to look into that for you. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go to a question then from Prince. Want to enroll for a program in MSc Finance and Investment. Are there any funding opportunities for such programs? Again, going back to kind of our kind of initial question earlier, there are certainly scholarships available. We have a university scholarship of £2,000 at postgraduate level. Failing that, I mean, you'll certainly be getting that and you'll be eligible for that. However, there isn't anything external that we also provide. So it would be then a case for you to look on, as Rich mentioned earlier, either the British Council website or see if there's any funding bodies within your country that may be able to offer some further bursary or scholarship to assist you alongside your studies. But don't be put off. Like I say, I think the other thing to think is you're not only, the advantage of studying with us is you don't have to worry about all of your accommodation, all of your tuition fee as one lump sum, because it's very realistic that you're going to get a part-time job, cover most of the course, most of the living arrangements as well. So there is that kind of balancing act. So if you do compare lots of different universities, you must take into consideration that we are one of the few places you'll be able to kind of balance both and kind of comfortably live off the money that you've earned and support your living costs. Okay. Okay, so there's a question there from, is that Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of questions about sponsorships, bursaries, etc. So I think we can cover that in one big lump as we already have.
Yeah, so I think hopefully if you've got any individual questions, feel free to come to us directly. But as we kind of have alluded to, so it's £1,500 scholarship for MBA students, £2,000 for postgraduate, and £2,500 for undergraduate students. So like I say, we'll be happy to answer any specific questions directly to you. Okay. Okay, one for Rich.
Okay, the question is it possible to do the thesis or project part in a company outside the UK, project part being later part of theoretical studies? I think what we're getting at here is the flexibility of our courses and whether you can do a thesis either based in the UK or based in your home country. Well, we try to be as flexible as possible on all our courses, and we will work with each individual student on providing the best outcome on their course. So if it's theoretically possible to do the final project or thesis away from the UK or based on a company that's not in the UK, we will do our very best to accommodate that.
So I think also to add to that, I think it depends on at what level of study you would be talking about. I mean, specifically if this is research, I mean, I'm thinking thesis, I'm assuming you mean either dissertation or research. We would say that a lot of our course would be theoretical in that respect, and you would be able to certainly apply any industry knowledge that you already have to that particular coursework. If you are doing a PhD with us, for example, you would be having engagement with local companies, and potentially they would be international based companies. So you certainly can certainly base your work around that, and that wouldn't be an issue at all. In terms of kind of our undergraduate programs, again, we've got a very good influence in terms of our sandwich programs. So there will be opportunities for students to get part-time or full-time year working within industry whilst they're in the UK. Those generally will be UK-based companies, so we wouldn't be able to necessarily send you to a company in India to work for the year, for example. It would be something that we base within the UK. So I think it partly depends on which level of study that we're talking about, but certainly we will be happy for you to kind of use your knowledge of companies all over the world in your courses, and that will be relevant content for your assignments.
Yeah, if you're a student or prospective student and you have preconceived ideas of where you want to go and where you want to be, by all means contact the university before you apply, and we'd be more than happy to discuss your course requirements.
Okay. So next question we've got is from LAC. Okay.
Okay, LAC, I know LAC, and we've been in correspondence, and I'll reply to that question offline by the end of the day.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rich. That's good. Okay, so I think we can skip the next two questions because they kind of look like just general comments. Okay, so we've got a question from Sujith. So hi, is there any possibility to find Indians who are going to join USW in the September 2015 intake? So it'll be helpful for me to accommodate near the university or in the university itself. I'm going to join the MSc Aircraft Maintenance Systems in Pontypridd campus. Okay, well, first of all, welcome Sujith, and thank you for your question. And I'm really excited to see that you're looking to join us in September, so that's great. What I would suggest is, I think I don't really want to give off, I obviously can't give out details of potential applicants over here now. What I'm going to try and do though is arrange a day where we can get some of our new aspiring students to come and join us, maybe together in India. So we may actually have an event coming up in the near future, so kind of a pre-departure meeting. So what I would suggest is, if you want to contact me directly at david.joyce@southwales.ac.uk, my details will be posted on this link as well, so you can get my email address there. Drop me an email directly and just introduce yourself and tell me where you're currently staying. I'm actually visiting India on Thursday, heading to Delhi first. I'm then heading to Hyderabad, then to Jaipur, then to Calcutta, and then I go on to Dhaka. So it may be that if you live in one of those cities, I can actually meet with you in person and kind of give you some advice. Failing that, I will be traveling extensively over the next couple of months. So just let me know and we can certainly arrange something, and I can hopefully introduce you to some other students from your local city or town.
Yeah,
okay?
that's the same for the African students as well. We can get together by email, and maybe on my next visit we can get together, or we have pre-departure briefings in country. And we also have an excellent program at the university for new students. So we always encourage new students to turn up around a week before their lectures start. And there's a vast and great program of events that you can have some fun with and get introduced to local amenities, facilities, have a look around the university, and you will be introduced to students from not only your own country but from all over the world.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, we can certainly help you either prior to leaving the country, before you arrive here, in finding accommodation, or we can certainly put you in touch with our letting agencies, and they can actually arrange viewings for you either online with some of their kind of recorded videos, or you can obviously arrange accommodation just to stay the first night or two in South Wales, and then we can actually do viewings with you directly and then take you to see some of the properties in Treforest or in the local area itself. So there's lots of different ways we can assist you with this. And like I say, if I can put you in touch with some other students in a similar position, that'd be ideal. So hopefully that's helpful for now, Sajith, and look forward to receiving your email over the next couple of days. So thank you. Okay. So I've got a question. I think that's the student we were talking about a minute ago. Okay, we'll take the question from Dilip. Okay, thank you. So the project part mentioned is for part of the MSc studies in structural engineering. Is it possible to get the project in the UK itself in any company through the help of the university with any bursaries from the company? Okay, so again, this is a kind of a placement-based question. So there are certainly opportunities for you throughout the program. Because myself and Rich obviously work in across a full range of programs, it's very hard for us to tell you specifically what opportunities will be on each particular course. What I can say though is all of the courses have got connections with the industry, so there will be certainly exposure to various companies within each program. We have guest lecturers coming in and talking to you from the industry, sharing their experiences and obviously giving you network opportunities. Also, all of our lecturers aren't just fresh-faced graduates that can give you the theoretical knowledge. They are all people that have worked within the industry. So they have a vast range of contacts again. So when you are looking to try and get placements on courses, when you are trying to get exposure to industry, we have a huge network of colleagues that we can get you in touch with. It may be that that's some part-time job to assist you whilst you're studying on the program. It may be full-time opportunities for when you've graduated, and it certainly will be opportunities for placements throughout the course as well. So when you do coursework, you can base it around a UK-based company. As I say, it will tend to be a UK-based company, unfortunately. There wouldn't be many opportunities to work within an international environment, but there will certainly be some site trips and field trips abroad inbuilt into some of the programs as well. But what we can certainly do, though, is talk to you one-on-one, and we can try and give you a bit more guidance in that respect.
And the university holds regular jobs fairs as well. And if you do want to do a placement, it will depend on the faculty or the course program that you're studying. For instance, my son is in the sports faculty or the sports school, and they recently held a fair where employers come in and talk to the students. And if a student wants to do a work placement as part of their course, they were interviewed and went on to a second interview. So my son is now doing a 1 day a week placement in a local comprehensive school, and he will be starting in September as part of his course.
That's good.
But it's not a straightforward, yes, I'll go on that work placement, you all need to work for it. You do have to apply for the job formally. You will be interviewed. So it's very much like a real life work situation.
And kind of going back to just generally kind of employability and generally across the board, the advice I always give to my students that I come across when I travel is when you come to the UK, there are definitely jobs out there, but it's the same as it will be in your hometown or your home city. Each job is competitive, and ultimately the best candidate for the job will get the job. People often ask me, is there any kind of job selectiveness on kind of home students against international students? Will an international student fare as well? And it quite simply is, if you're the best candidate for the job, you will get the job, and that's kind of an assurance we can give you. When you come to the UK though, you get the duration of your course plus 4 months at the end of your program. The students that tend to leave things till the end of the course and only then start to concentrate on finding some post-study opportunities have given themselves just a fraction of the time. So for me, I always advise students to make a business card. It's just a way of kind of having your information readily available to someone within the industry. Whenever you meet someone in that particular area of business, you want to shake their hands, be the first person to introduce yourself, and say, look, this is me, this is my contact details, my name, my email address, my telephone number, and maybe a passport photo on the card, and just say, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm currently studying here on this program. Ultimately, I'm looking to get into the industry. You may have some opportunities at the moment. I'm definitely happy to apply if you do. If not, should something become available in the near future, please keep me in mind, and I'm definitely interested to apply. So I think if you're productive and you go out there and you're actually putting these feelers out there, things will certainly emerge for you and there will be opportunities. If you just sit back and wait for opportunities to come and tap you on the shoulder, then it is going to be very hard to find something. So I think it's about kind of having the right attitude when you come to the UK, getting stuck into the course and obviously performing well academically, trying to get a well-rounded profile, getting involved with sports or a society or some form of extracurricular activity that will be showing that you've got more to yourself than just an academic background. And like I say, giving yourself these opportunities, these networking opportunities is invaluable, and it potentially will lead to something post your study. So we really have this influence on you. We try and help you in terms of developing your CV, writing strong personal statements. We've got an excellent employability service, and again, they can tell you not only which companies are recruiting, but they can certainly have a look through any applications you're launching to make sure you really have celebrated everything that you've got on paper, and you come across as a really strong graduate. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we want from you. We don't want you just to come here and have fun and then go. We want you to take life experiences away from this university, really kind of enjoy everything we teach you. And it's not just academically you're going to grow, it's as a complete individual you are going to grow independently, obviously your connections, and obviously academically throughout the course. So get stuck in and there'll be a very good opportunity for you when you graduate.
Yeah, and we now live in what's called a global village, so the University of South Wales degree is recognised all over the world. So don't just limit yourself to either staying in the UK or returning to your home country to work. You know, there's a whole world of opportunities you can gain by a University of South Wales degree.
Okay, so I'm going to take the next question then. Okay. Hi, I to resume studies for BSc Honours Nursing September 15 with the present developments in Naira in my country and the very high cost of foreign exchange to restrict me from completing my tuition. Okay, so I think this is one from Rich's market. So I'll let Rich have a chat with Esther.
Right, thank you for that one, David.
Well,
okay, macro and microeconomics is a little out of our control, I'm afraid. Now, hopefully the exchange rate on the Naira will improve over the next few months and weeks as the relatively new government in Nigeria starts to feel its way and things settle down. So, you know, as I said, unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about exchange rates. So what we would advise is that when you're budgeting from the very start is to build in to that budget maybe a little extra to compensate for any extreme changes in the exchange rate.
I mean, we had something similar in the Indian subcontinent. The rupee dropped significantly against the pound about 3 years ago, and overnight it meant that a lot of students were in a position where they almost had 10% shortfall in the tuition fees they'd set aside. Unfortunately, it dropped that significantly that a lot of students then had to obviously put either further money into their account or unfortunately had to defer entry to a later intake. So I mean, it's unfortunately something that is, like Richard, obviously it's an external thing that we can't control. The only thing that we have in place to obviously support you is the fact that we're quite flexible in terms of payment. So if you did have a fluctuation once you just enrolled, potentially a payment plan would be able to help you throughout the course of that year. Obviously, when it's leading up to an intake, obviously, unfortunately, that may have some kind of consequences. It may be that you have to defer an intake if things really can't be resolved. But the one thing that will remain constant is that we have these scholarships. We are trying to be as helpful as possible. But unfortunately, when it comes to external factors, there is a limited amount we can do. But as always, we're happy to advise you, and hopefully we look forward to hopefully seeing that situation improve for you in the near future, Esther. Okay. So we're going to go down to a question from Magoob. So happy for New South Wales University, but I may be faced by paying tuition fees. I am from the country which faces many problems, Sudan. I'll try. I think this is generally just a nice comment, really, to see from Magoob. So thank you very much for your comments. We're looking forward to hopefully, like I say, helping you in the future as well. In the meantime, if we can be of any specific advice, please feel free to contact either myself or Rich, and we'll certainly be happy to guide you through the next stage of the application. But all the best for it, and we look forward to hopefully welcoming you in the near future. Okay. So, yeah, I'll take that one. So we've got a question from Rabia. Please confirm, am I supposed to only work for 20 hours in case of postgraduate study, MBA, at Treforest campus, or may I work for more time? Okay, so going back to one of the earlier comments that we had, in the UK on a Tier 4 student visa, which all of you will be studying on, you are able to do a maximum of 20 hours part-time work per week. We would then say, obviously, in our local area, that would be more than enough to cover your accommodation and your living arrangements, which is obviously a real strength for us. But unfortunately, you would be limited to only doing a maximum of 20 hours part-time work. You can, however, work full-time outside of term time. So in the summer vacation, Christmas vacation, and Easter vacation, that's when you can work considerably more hours in a particular job. So that is certainly something that can happen throughout the year, but during term time you would be restricted to 20 hours. That's not something that we've put into place as a university or Wales has in place. That is a full UK structure. That's part of the Tier 4 process. That is a mandatory 20 hours maximum.
And partly those restrictions are there to ensure students study as well as work. An MBA program in particular, as well as any other master's program, it's very intense. It's just a year of study. So, you know, it's there to ensure you do your very best to get to the end of the program without struggling too much. Yeah, we wouldn't want you overburdening yourself with work and study. So, you know, at the end of the day, you are here to study so you can carry on in life and work to your best of your abilities.
Yeah. No, definitely. And like I say, going back to earlier again, it's about getting a balance at university. Yeah. You don't want to just be working flat out academically the whole time. You will score very high results, which is great, but we want you to have some downtime as well. We want you to get to really enjoy living in the UK, to get the full experience, to get involved with activities, to kind of make lots of friends and be very social, and to balance a part-time job as well. So there is a lot to fit in, but there's ultimately 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. So there's a lot of hours in a week. So it's about kind of managing your time effectively. And that, again, is a life skill. So we're not expecting you to work flat out, and you shouldn't be putting yourself through kind of mental torment and doing 20 hours a day. You need to get the right balance, and you can certainly kind of juggle all those things around and get a really nice experience about living at the university. Okay, so hopefully that's answered that review. So question from Tayo. So thank you, David and Richard, for doing this. Can I get a flexible part-time job that won't affect my school hours? How many months, weeks do I have to pay my balance after the first installments of school fees? So yeah, that's kind of going back to our last question. Yeah, you can certainly get a job that's flexible around your tuition. We generally say that you're going to have around about 12 to 14 hours of contact with your lecturers and classes per week. We then expect you to do the same again in your own independent study. So generally speaking, 28 hours per week should be dedicated to your academics, either in class or externally researching and doing coursework and revising. So yeah, you can certainly get a job that will be flexible around that. It may be that you're taught on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you have Thursday, Friday completely free. And that may be 2 days where you choose to work throughout the day. It may be that you have lectures Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. Each afternoon is free. So each course is very different in the way it will be structured and the timings per week. Generally speaking, students can work in a huge range of jobs. There's nothing that's restricted to you. So it may be some people will be working in a restaurant in the evening shift. Some people may be working for a design company during an afternoon shift. It really can be as diverse as that. So there isn't a right or wrong answer, but you will certainly kind of be able to balance whichever time your lecturers are, you'll be able to balance your work life around that. Okay, so hopefully that's sorted out. Okay. So question from Esther again. So hi, thank you for this interview. Concerning the open days, I booked September 16th. This is prior to my resumption date. Can I attend the open day before I resume school? Okay. So when you say resume school, I take it you mean studying here already? I'm not quite sure as to the background behind that. Generally speaking, our courses will be starting around about September the 16th, so it won't be possible to join for the September intake at that late stage. The only difference would be potentially if you are already studying with us, we may be able to assist you from here a little bit quicker. But in terms of a general tier 4 application, it would take a couple of weeks to process. So I'd probably suggest you would miss that intake, and we'd be then looking at February. But again, if you want to either clarify that question or drop us an email directly, we can certainly advise you as to kind of the options there.
I mean, we realise it's very difficult for overseas students, international students, to attend open days at the university. So we do our best to showcase the university on YouTube and videos. And we have some great accommodation type videos. There's a campus video where a drone flies over the campus. Please take the time out to have a look at those. And if you are in the UK, you find yourself in the UK and you want to visit the university, just drop us an email and we'll be happy to show you around on a one-to-one basis. And if we're out in the UK and we're traveling, certainly one of our colleagues can do that as well. We can arrange interviews with, well, not interviews, but just chats with lecturers as well.
Yeah. Going back to what Rich mentioned about YouTube, YouTube for us is an excellent resource. It's got around about 1,000 different videos about the university. So I would definitely recommend for anyone that's looking at studying with us, the first video you should look at is called We Are Here. And that's a really nice introduction to our life on campus and just generally what it'd be like living in South Wales. And then it showcases all of our campuses, and I think it really gives a nice impression of what you would be experiencing studying with us. So that's one I definitely recommend you all to have a look at. So visit the website and look for the We Are Here video, and the page is just called University of South Wales. Okay. So Esther's busy with the questions, so we'll come back to Esther. So she's a prospective student of USW from Nigeria. It'll be the first time overseas, so we'd love to know how possibly apply for accommodation. Do I have to do that along with the application for visa? And can I work in the UK after studies or must return? So 3 separate questions. We'll break it down quite quickly. So in terms of applying for accommodation, as we kind of touched on earlier, you can certainly do that prior to leaving the country. You can do that in advance. Or failing that, you can arrange just for a night's of accommodation in a guest house in the local area, arrange viewings for the first day that you arrive in the UK. Then you'll get taken around to 3 or 4 different options, and then you can choose the one that's best for you. So we can certainly help you in advance prior to travel, or it may be that you'd prefer to see things with your own eyes and then make a decision. And also you can certainly apply for our halls of accommodation on campus as well. So there really are quite a few different options out there for you. So it depends exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, so once we've made you an offer to study and you've accepted that offer to study, that sort of kicks off the accommodation process then. We will email you with details on how to go about applying for accommodation. But any issues, just either contact us individually or go to our website, www.southwales.com/international, and there'll be a section there on accommodation as well.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully that's that one for you. Okay. So question from Dilip. So is it possible that I can get a PSW post-study work visa after my studies? What are other visas that may be available in after the studies? So yeah, I mean, like I say, there certainly is a chance for you to get a post-study visa working in the UK. Going back to what I kind of originally said, it's the same as it will be in any country, any city. Jobs are competitive, and ultimately the best candidate for the job will get the job. So it's important to have a well-rounded profile, a really strong application, and a good CV, and then be yourself in interview. If you can go in and be confident and deliver all the messages you want to get across, there is a good chance you will get a job, but we can never guarantee that you will definitely get a job. In terms of visas, we would have you studying with us on a Tier 4 student visa. Then if you can find a job, and we would help you to try and find a job that pays £21,000 per year, that company would sponsor you then and change your Tier 4 student visa to a Tier 2 work visa within the UK. And that would be valid for 1 year up to 5 years. And they would extend that visa ad hoc as they wished. Upon 5 years of work in this in that company, you can actually apply for permanent residency then within the UK. So some students certainly will have opportunities to start their career and develop their career throughout in the UK. There is also a kind of emphasis we have on entrepreneurialism at the university. And there is actually the Tier 1 entrepreneurial visa that students are also eligible to apply for. So if you were looking to start your own business and you wanted to kind of start that in the UK whilst you're studying, that certainly would be an opportunity for you as well. Again, you'd be restricted into the terms of the amount of hours you can put into that per week, because you are supposed to be concentrating on the academics. But we can certainly sit down with you, go through your business plan, tell you about any funding opportunities there may be, and again, help you network with people within the industry, and potentially that would enable you to start your own company and then apply for the Tier 1 entrepreneurial visa. So there would be 2 options to you going forward after graduation. Okay.
Esther is asking a question about job applications. We will do our very best to find you or help you find a job, either during your studies or once you finish your studies. Nursing is a little different because we do build in some quite substantial work experience and work programs into our nursing programs. But it's maybe best if we take that offline, because there's quite a lot to talk about and it's quite complicated. I'm sure we'll have Esther's details, and I'll drop you a line. My producer over here is saying yes.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, when you apply for jobs, it can be a mixture of things. It may be that you cold call them by either dropping into an office, or you drop them a covering letter and just introduce yourself. It may be that there is, like you say, a website that jobs are posted on that you can apply for and upload your CV. Or it may be that we have, like I say, an open day on campus where we've got people coming in looking to recruit our students. So there's lots of ways that you can initiate job opportunities, and it will be obviously a case of being active, looking at a wide range of platforms, so maybe online media, print media, and just generally signing on with a job agency, and they may be able to kind of highlight any particular things that would be suitable for you going forward. So there is a wide range of ways to find things whilst you study. Okay, we'll take the question from Boyak, the second one. Okay, so please, will the school send all my documents to start applying for entry visa, because I will be an international student? So basically, when it comes to applying to the university, we would take either applications via UCAS, which you can apply to multiple universities within the UK, or we'd take a direct application. You can apply directly yourself, but we'd always recommend that you go through one of our recognised recruitment agents, as they are experts in the application process, and then helping you and guiding you for free when it comes to your Tier 4 application. So it will be very much a case of any questions, feel free to drop us an email. That's absolutely fine. We can help you in terms of launching an application. But once you have started to submit some documents online, we'll check off what you've included so far. And if there's anything missing, then we'll contact you directly and ask you to upload the final transcript or personal statement or reference, whatever the component is we're waiting for. So we'll always keep in touch with you and monitor you through each application.
Yeah, so there's no real need to send hard copies of anything to the university.
Yeah.
Only in exceptional circumstances will we ask for that.
Yeah, scans are generally fine. Okay, so okay, can we go back to the question from Rabia at the top? Sorry, that one. Yeah. Okay. So question is from it's from Lack. I apologize. So he says that he really wants to study at the university, but he cannot afford the cost. Can you clarify a bit about the sponsorships offered by the university? So just to recap very quickly, we have international development scholarships in place for our international students, and they are for 20 separate countries. So undergraduate, we have a £2,500 scholarship. We have a £2,000 scholarship at postgraduate level and a £1,500 scholarship at MBA level. Unfortunately, they are the full extent of what the university can provide in terms of funding and sponsorship, but you can certainly also look to apply externally to other companies or maybe someone within your community to support your studies, and then potentially you could do that and then go back and work for the company. For example, they may choose to part fund you on the basis that you go and then dedicate a year working with them, and they can benefit from your expertise. So you can certainly make your own personal arrangements, but from the university's point of view, we've got academic scholarships in place. They will be awarded to you. You don't have to apply separately, and hopefully they will certainly try and reduce some of the cost for you. The way I always look at education is it is an investment, and I do not it's not right for everyone, and I don't think that everyone tuning in today will necessarily be the right option for you. We're here today to give you lots of ideas, and hopefully this will excite you about some of the opportunities that would be available to you. But it's not just the only step there. Some people are very capable of getting a very good job purely by working hard within the industry and gaining that experience. So this is an academic qualification. For some people, this will be a stepping stone. So for some people, they may already have experience and now they want an academic qualification to back up that. So everyone's different, and you will all be joining at very different stages of your cycle. And that's the way to look at it, is you don't necessarily have to go as a fresh graduate all the way through your undergraduate, postgraduate, MBA research. You don't have to do it in one go. It may be that you think, right, I've just done my 12th standard in English in India. I'm going to do an undergraduate in the UK. I'm then going to get some experience for a couple of years, and then I'm going to come back and apply what I've learnt and then do my postgraduate. So there's so many different ways of approaching it. So just because you can't afford it at the moment, it doesn't mean this is the only opportunity you'll ever have in your life. We certainly are going to be here for a long time as a university. I should certainly hope so. So we are always happy to help you. It may be that you're looking for advice now, and it may be that you're looking for in 2-3 years' time. But we're certainly happy to give you some advice and guidance, and hopefully, should you be in a position to come in the future, we can help you through that process. So please don't be put off if you aren't ready for this September. This isn't what it's about. It's very much an information session. Hopefully, this will help you going forward in the future. Okay. Okay, take the question from Lack. Okay, so Lack is currently holding the Bachelor of Education in Science, specifically in biology. Is there any possibility to pursue Bachelor of Honours Nursing at university? When it comes to questions like this, because we've got quite a large viewership online at the moment, I think we'll try and keep our answers quite broad so they're applicable to everyone. I think what we'll do is, if you've got specific questions about an application or generally about entry requirements, first of all, the website's obviously got the main entry requirements down there. If you do not think you directly meet them, or if you think that you've got experience that would complement your current qualifications, we would say that your personal statement would be a great place to obviously develop that answer and say, well, actually, look, I've got a background in biology and education. I'm looking at this. However, with my experience, I think I'm suitable because of this. So just because you don't necessarily meet direct entry requirements, we're always happy to look through a full profile and give you the full merit of your experience. And it may be that a faculty member will look at the application and make an academic judgment as if it would be suitable for you. So any questions directly about an application, come to us directly and we can hopefully guide you through there.
Yes, we treat all applications on an individual basis. So if, as David said, if you don't quite meet those entry requirements, there's a real person looking at the application. There are no robots or algorithms or computers involved in the process, apart from the to and froing. It's a real person sat behind a desk looking at your application, so that that statement, that personal statement, is very important. And we do our best to accommodate as many people as we can. Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, there isn't a limited number of places at the university. We are actively attracting students, and ultimately we want you to do what's right for you. If we read through a profile and think, however, that this is a bit of a stretch and it seems that something you want to do as opposed to you really do have the aptitude, we are honest, and we don't want to just take a student on the basis of it's a new student. We'll always advise you and guide you, and if we are able to help you in this, then that's absolutely great. But obviously, if we feel there would be a stronger option for you, then we would obviously be happy for you to follow that as well. So feel free to make the application. We'll certainly review the documents, and then we can make a judgment for you there.
Yeah, I just want to add that nursing is extremely competitive. It is one of the rare instances where there are, unfortunately, caps on how many students we can take. We are one of the best universities in the UK, I believe, for nursing. So yeah, it's very competitive.
All right, thanks, Mike. We'll skip that one. Okay, so we're still getting some questions generally about scholarships and funding. So what I'm going to do is refer you to some of the earlier questions about that, because it is standard information across the board, and otherwise we're just going to repeat that. Magoob's asked if you can apply for the scholarship from here. That is actually, you don't actually have to apply separately from for any of our scholarships. It'll automatically be given to you. It's based on your country, and once you've met the offer, once you've met the conditions of what we would offer, we then give you that scholarship automatically. You don't have to apply separately for it. So all you need to do in the first instance is apply to the university. Once we acknowledge the application and send you either a conditional or unconditional offer, then we can take you through the rest of the process. But realistically, you don't have to do anything separate to apply for a scholarship. Okay. Can you apply for work visa before ending of your course for post-graduation completion? Yeah, Rabia, certainly you can do that. I mean, ultimately, we would obviously you need to concentrate on the studies, but if you are in a position where you've got a job lined up and they are going to take you on upon graduation, we can certainly give you guidance. We've got an international immigration team that can help you with applying for a different visa throughout that stage. So we look forward to you being in that position and having a job lined up, and we'll try and help you obviously find that, and we'll certainly help you through the rest of the process once you're here. Okay. Okay. So if Rich wants to take the question from Adedeji.
Yeah, sure. So this is an accommodation question, whether or not there are studio apartments for couples on the Pontypridd campus. I'm not sure if they are. David, are they not? They're just off campus, aren't they, the studio apartments?
No, on campus. Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Stand corrected.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on your unconditional
Yes.
offer, and hopefully welcome to the university as of September. Yeah, we do have studio apartments in our halls of residence on the Treforest campus. They're approximately £140 per week, and it would be designed perfectly for a couple. Yeah, that certainly would be an option. So you can apply for that when you are applying for accommodation. You can select the option. They are relatively competitive, so it's not a guarantee you'll be able to get the student apartment, because there will be a lot of students that would like to have the larger accommodation. But obviously, we are in a position where we do prioritise couples for those. We wouldn't just want someone who wants a party flat to get one of the biggest flats just because they can. So we would definitely give priority to a couple that are looking to do that. So what I'd suggest is once you've accepted the offer and made your payment, we can get you in touch with our accommodation team, and you can start making arrangements for the accommodation. If unfortunately you are unable to get that on campus, there would then be opportunities, obviously externally to the university, where you can get cheap accommodation together in a small house. That would be another option for you as well. Okay. So if you can select Tayo's question, please. Okay, so Tayo has just asked, does she need to bring original documents used for processing to the university? So basically, it's all online nowadays. What we'd ask you to do is to scan your original documents. It may be that you're working with an agent and they can scan them for you. They would then upload them onto our application online, and then we review them electronically. So basically, no, you don't need to send us anything. You don't need to physically send a hard copy to us. We're happy to look at the original that's just the scanned version of it. So that's not a problem at all.
I should add that for students from Ghana and Nigeria, unfortunately, we don't accept direct applications online. So you will need to work through an agent based in either of those countries. And I believe it's the same for...
It would be the same for Pakistan in my market as well. So if you're from Pakistan, we'd either ask you to contact our regional manager, who's called TJ, and you can drop him an email at pakistan@southwales.ac.uk, or you can work with one of our registered agents, and again, they'll give you free counselling and guidance in terms of the application and then applying for your student visa at a later stage as well. So the great thing is that we have kind of, me and Rich are in a really fortunate position, and my colleagues as well. We get to travel around some fantastic places and meet you directly. On top of that, then, when we're not in country, we also have this massive network that can support you in our place. So we go around and train them, and then they can help disseminate the information to you. So please feel free to use any of them. They are free of charge, and they're experts in the system, so they can help you in terms of any application questions.
Yeah, just not all of the agents, certainly in Ghana and Nigeria, are free of charge. One or two may charge you an administration fee. So when you make that initial contact, please do question them whether their services are free of charge or not.
Okay, so I hope that's answered that one for you. Thank you for all the questions, guys. They're coming in thick and fast here, so it's nice. It's nice to see that we're hopefully being useful for you here. Let me take the question from Caroline Nick, please. So good morning. Is there any possibility to apply for a scholarship now? What are the measures that you have put in place to ensure that we have access to certain jobs that we can cover some of our expenses? Okay, so in terms, thank you, Caroline, for the question. In terms of the scholarships, as we said earlier, scholarships are automatically happening when you apply to the university and you get your offer. Your country will be registered against your application, and our scholarships are based on domicile. So they are to help students from countries where maybe the finances and the exchange rates are a barrier. So they hopefully will assist you in covering those fees. In terms of what we've done to put kind of measures in place to ensure students get jobs, we haven't got an assurance that you will definitely get a job. We can't unequivocally 100% guarantee it, because ultimately it does come down to you to having a good CV and having the people skills as well. What we can guarantee you is that we have part-time job fairs on our campuses with companies coming in to recruit our current students throughout the course. I can assure you that we live 15 minutes away from one of the capital cities of the UK, Cardiff, the capital of Wales, and it is a huge metropolitan city, and there's a lot of jobs out there. So there is a very, very, very strong chance you'll find a job within the first couple of weeks at university. We'll give you the exposure and the opportunity to find that. Ultimately, it does come down to you obviously turning up to interviews and obviously actually performing well in them. But there's a very strong chance you can find a job whilst you study. We've got, like I say, a huge network of companies we work with throughout our programs as well. So these internships and sandwich years are readily available. They will be competitive, and again, you will be applying for various ones, but we've got kind of these networking opportunities that will potentially lead to full-time job upon graduation as well. So rest assured, you will be certainly in good hands. We've got an excellent careers advice service as well, and they can again tell you companies that are actively recruiting at any particular time in the UK. Okay, so hopefully that's answered that one for you, Caroline.
Okay, there's a question about transportation engineering there.
Okay. Urgently need to pursue MSc in transportation engineering in September 15. Need to secure acceptance in good time to enable me to process the sponsorship.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a specific MSc in that area. My suggestion would be to just check out our website to see if there's anything similar maybe in logistics and supply chain or civil or mechanical engineering that matches your expectations and aspirations. But unfortunately, with nothing named in MSc in transportation engineering, I'm afraid.
I mean, when it comes to our programs, there are core modules within all of the programs, and there's also a few optional modules. So it may be that there may be an option that does suit that quite nicely. Alternatively, you'll get asked to do a dissertation or research project as part of your MSc as well. So there's no reason why you can't specialize it towards your own area of interest. Yeah. But generally speaking, there certainly isn't one called transportation engineering. So, I mean, we did have automotive, and that's been kind of taken within the mechanical stream. So there certainly is going to be content that's relevant to that query. But it's just a case of having a look through the modules and making sure that the rest of the course is as per what you're looking for, because we don't want you to do a course that only 10% of the content is really perfect for you and the rest of it is complementing but not exactly what you wanted to study. So I hope that will help. Okay, so thank you, Gaston. Okay.
Also a great question. Asked about how you get to the university.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great. Esther, do not apologize. Honestly, you're absolutely welcome to ask the questions when we're enjoying doing it. And I think this is a nice thing for us because it gives us a chance to hopefully address lots of queries, and hopefully lots of you are going to benefit from them. So I'm pleased you are sending questions. Don't be shy. Feel free to keep coming. That's not a problem. So you'll be coming from Nigeria into the UK in the first week of September, and you're confused where to land in terms of airports. In the UK, Cardiff, Glasgow, Birmingham, although agents in Nigeria are a great help. So I would suggest you've got a couple of different options, and to be honest, all of them are fine. I'd say Glasgow would be probably out of range to do that. There's no advantage to flying to Glasgow because you would have to get from Scotland over to Wales, and that wouldn't necessarily be, you'd certainly have to get an extra flight. You've got the option of either flying with KLM via Amsterdam and coming into Cardiff Airport directly, or another good option is flying to London and to one of the London airports. And generally, London Heathrow is obviously the major airport in London. We actually do a free transport service for you as well, which is a reassurance that when you arrive in the UK, we'll be waiting for you. You'll let us know your flight details and when you arrive. And then there'll be someone waiting for you with a sign from the University of South Wales. And then they'll direct you onto a bus, and then we give you free transport from the airport directly to the university. Generally speaking, international students will arrive a week before the main student body does, and that gives you a chance to settle into the university. We have the International Welcome Week, and it's a great chance to meet other people. So there'll be multiple people coming in on that at that time. So just let us know your flight details, and we'll help make arrangements to pick you up when you arrive. Okay. So just I'll take Shola's question quickly at the top. So thanks for joining us, Shola, and thank you for the question. You wanted to know if there's any discount if you pay your full tuition fee at the start of the course. Yes is the simple answer. We will give you a further £300 reduction from your tuition fee if you do pay it in one go. Failing that, you can choose to pay the remaining balance in 3 months or in 7-month instalments. If you're applying for undergraduate, your course fee will be, after the £300 for paying full-time, it'll be £8,800. It would be £10,000 after the £300 reduction for postgraduate, and it would be £10,500 for the MBA after scholarship. Okay. So Nicholas has asked about assisting with the funding for aeronautical engineering. Sorry, there was my question. From Mohammed, thank you, David and Richard, for your consultation. I'd like to ask what the prospective questions about interviews and when it's going to be held.
Okay, well, in most cases, that's course-specific questions will be asked, but on a general basis, you need to research about your course in general. You also need to research information on the university. So how big is it? Where is it located? Who are the management team? So look who the chancellor is, with that sort of thing. And then questions about the UK. So just make sure you do some great general research. If you have an agent, ask the agent, they will brief you. But we can also set up mock interviews.
So as part of our application process, we have something called the Kira interview. So when you hold your offer, you'll be invited to take a preliminary visa interview effectively. What we have is a bank of around about 1,000 questions, and you'll be asked to log on to this particular website with an ID and password we give you. You get 3 practice questions, and then you get asked to do 5 questions. We'll then review your answers, and then we'll actually give you some feedback and say, well, you answered number 1 to 3 very, very well, but number 4, which was about accommodation and living arrangements, you need to do a little bit more research. So basically, we try and give you guidance in terms of preparing you for the visa application and interview ourselves. And obviously, we've got a huge range of information out there on our YouTube channel. And I mean, that's a really great place for you to learn lots about the university and generally about South Wales. So I definitely advise you to do lots of research there. And the good thing is you're not just going to have to read lots of information. It's kind of really it's kind of obviously really nice videos, well presented, and you get to kind of find out lots of interesting facts about the university. So it's all kind of available to you. But generally, just be confident. You need to obviously justify what you want to do, why you want to do it, and why you've chosen this university. I would advise you to look at lots of different options. At the end of the day, we're not here today to say you want to do an MBA, you have to come and study here. There are lots of viable options out there for you. We personally think that this is a really good one for you, but we would want you to look at other kind of opportunities out there. It may be that you're looking at US, UK, Canada, Australia, and you've got one in each country you're looking at. So you just need to make a list, the pros and cons in each one, and then obviously make an informed decision. And I think as long as you know in your heart that this is the right decision, you've got the kind of background, the knowledge behind it, then that'll come across really well in the interview. So just be confident, do your research, and be yourself, and you'll be absolutely fine. Okay.
There's a specific question about health and safety.
So it's a question from Tayo about the NBOSH programs for HSE health, safety, environmental courses. I think this is one that we can take with you directly. So if you just want to drop us an email, we'll follow up on that, and then we can give you some more specific information about the health and safety environment course. Okay. So we're coming to the end of our session now. So if you do have any further questions, please feel free to get them in quickly. What we're going to do is try and select some questions that we haven't touched on already. There is quite a few waiting, but they're all kind of things that we have covered throughout the day. So hopefully, if you look back through the video, there's the questions and the answers will be launched against that, so you will be able to see that. Okay, so there's still quite a few questions about scholarships, funding and things, so hopefully we've covered that already. So as we touched on, there is scholarships available. You are guaranteed to get them with the application. Unfortunately, they are limited to 2,500 at undergraduate, 2,000 at postgraduate, and 1,500 at MBA. We don't have any extra funding on top of that, but you are able to secure your own external funding. We would hope that you are able to do that. So we're going to take a question then from Prince, I guess, for Rich.
Okay, I'm going to select that one for me a second.
Is this one, please? Yeah, thank you.
Prince is asking, Prince's ambition is to study MBA, and he's asking about part-time work. And I just confirmed that, yeah, 20 hours per week in term time, and then as much as you can handle really within the limits of the law when you're not studying. What else is there? So
you're saying basically, yeah, is this kind of 5 days during the week, and the weekend doesn't count? So basically, in term time, we would say you are to do 20 hours part-time work. That may be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, daytime, evening, or Saturday and Sunday. That would be classed as the week. We wouldn't look at Monday to Friday as the 5 days, and then you can do what you want on the 2 days at the weekend. It would be 20 hours between the 7 days would be what you can do part-time while studying. Outside of term time, so your summer, Christmas and Easter vacation, you can work full-time, and that's when you can do more than that. But 820 hours is the guideline of 20 hours per week throughout the course of the year.
So the priority is the course, obviously, and then finding out when you're in university, when you're in lectures, how much additional time you'll need to spend on your studies out of the university environment, and then balancing that with how much time you can spend working as well.
Yeah.
It may not be that you can fit in 20 hours of work during term time. Because of your studies, it may mean that possibly you could only do 10. It's just a question of balancing this out.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to take a question from Shola. So she's asked what the latest admission date for our master's students to arrive at the university. Also, how I get to South Wales from Portsmouth and how far it is, please. Okay, well, Portsmouth, first of all, is probably about 3 hours, I would suggest, from here.
Maybe a little longer, depending on mode of transport.
Yeah, generally speaking, I'd say probably the easiest thing for you would be by train. You'd certainly have to get a train from Portsmouth to Bristol, probably connect at Bristol to Cardiff, and then if you're coming to Treforest, Cardiff to Treforest. The good thing about getting around the UK is, with respect, when I go to the Indian subcontinent, as you guys are probably aware, traffic can sometimes be a little bit heavy, and it's not always saying that you're 5 miles away, it means it's 5 minutes. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 days. You just never know with traffic jams and things. So we do have a really good transport system. So getting around the UK is very easy. But yeah, certainly there would be trains that would be very easy to get from Portsmouth to Cardiff itself. So that's not a problem at all. The latest admission date is on when you apply to the university, you'll get your offer and it'll give you the course start date. And it's generally around about middle of September. We would want you to arrive. I mean, it's desirable you arrive. You can actually come up to 1 month before the course starts, but I would definitely try and get you here 1 week before the course starts. And that's purely so you can get engaged with the International Welcome Programme, because I think it's a great way of meeting friends from all over the world. Everyone's in the same position in the first week or two. They're all a little bit nervous, getting used to the location. I think if you come in maybe a week after that and everyone's already settled in, you've just got to kind of go through that on your own. And obviously, if you've got kind of the support mechanisms in place in that week, you may as well take advantage of them. So I think if you're in the UK, if you've got your student visa, come down to the university as soon as you can, get stuck in, get settled in. And again, it will get you ahead of the curve. If you are looking to get some part-time work whilst you study, the longer until you arrive, there's more people here already applying. So in a way, if you've got your visa, you can travel 1 month before, it may be advantageous to actually do that. So ultimately, everyone's slightly different. Everyone's going to have their own kind of factors behind it. Some students may get their visa slightly later. If you do get your visa late, we can still enroll you up to a week after the program starts. But obviously, ideally, we want you there before, ready to hit the ground running on your program.
Yeah, that week after is in exceptional circumstances.
Yeah.
It's really important to realise that from week 1 you hit the road running, really, and anything after the first week, you will miss an awful lot of work.
Yeah.
And probably will not be allowed to continue with your studies. It's just that whether it be 3-year course or 1-year course or a 4-year course, from week 1 you will be working, and you will be working hard. So that's really the reason why that we do need students to turn up on time.
That being said, if there is a genuine reason that's affecting you arriving, if there's something that can't be resolved, just notify us in the first instance. Whatever the problem is, we're not going to be offended that you can't come because of a family commitment or whatever the particular reason is. We need to do something as early as possible for you to help you. It may be that you were due to start in September. Unfortunately, for some particular reason, you can't now travel till October, November. We'd then say, look, unfortunately, we can't take you in this session. We'd then look at the February session, make sure your course is available, and you can potentially start in a later session. So we don't want you to come into the university slightly late and have to rush through the first couple of weeks trying to catch up with the workload whilst more work's coming in. You need to have kind of a clear head. You want to kind of hit the ground running and have the full duration of the course to do really well. So we'd rather that you maybe missed a month or two, started in the February intake instead, and hit the ground running and performed as well as you fully can. So like I say, just be proactive. Don't be put off. If you're worried about anything, ask the question. We're not going to tell you off if you can't avoid these things, and we'll do everything we can to make sure we either help you for that session or for a later session. So be productive, be forthcoming. We can help you.
Communication is key. Just let us know if you've got any issues, and we'll do our very best to accommodate you or resolve them if we can.
Definitely. Okay. So we're looking for a final question then. So there's a question here about the engineering. Again, we'll just skim through this one quickly and we'll do one more question. So a question from Nicholas, wanted to know if you can assist me with funding for the aeronautical engineering. So like I say, we do have a scholarship in place. If it's undergraduate, you'll get a £2,500 scholarship and you'll pay £9,100 for the programme per year. If it's postgraduate, there's a £2,000 scholarship and you'll pay £10,300 for the year, but that's the only funding the university has directly for you. Any further funding you'd have to secure yourself. You can refer to the British Council website for any scholarship opportunities they have available for you, or maybe speak to a partner or provider within your own country and see if they've got anything further. But in terms of us funding, that is the limit that we have, is the development scholarship. Okay, cheers, Nicholas. Okay, so last question then. There's still quite a lot there. What we'll do is we'll take this is Bayok's question. One more down. Another one above.
I think that's when the session start.
Okay, that's fine. Just scroll on down. Okay, Dennis says hi. Keep scrolling, please. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically all the rest of the questions are pretty much about the scholarship opportunities. So I think we've covered that now. So hopefully they've all been addressed throughout the session. So what we're going to do then was just to say thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Really hope we have been helpful and answered some of your queries. Obviously, we're kind of we can't do this indefinitely, so unfortunately we have to call it a day for now. But I think at least you've got some ideas now, so please keep in contact with us. Any questions, you can certainly come to me directly if it's from the Indian subcontinent. So my contact details are going to be attached to the page. So my colleague is just asking us to say one more thing.
We can't quite understand.
We can't read his handwriting.
Our producer's handwriting.
What does the producer want?
I think he's trying to tell us that we will post useful questions and answers onto the website.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so basically what we're going to do is take kind of the questions from today and make sure that they're all available for you, and you've got links to the questions and the responses. So if you haven't had your question answered directly, I'm hopeful that everything has been covered today. But thank you very much for joining us, and goodbye from me. And
goodbye from me. Just one more thing to add. David and myself travel to India and South Asia and all over Africa as often as we can, and just keep a look on our website for dates and times and places, because we'd love to meet you face to face as well.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. So thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you hopefully in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.